Hey, happy day. Hollywood, the actors in Hollywood, you know how times change and how people change. Back in the 40s and 50s and 60s and maybe even the 70s, actors were predominantly Republican and they cared about their fellow person, right? And they went out and they preached it and they talked about it. Ronald Reagan, John Wayne, so many. And if you were on the other side, like a commie, you were called out, whereas today, it's the opposite. We had a flip. How did that happen? Hollywood actors today, mostly they're left-leaning people. Not all, I get it. There are some really outspoken guys and we like them for what they're doing because talk more and make them talk less. That'll be a good thing. But just to kind of put it into capsule form here, let me talk about one guy, Mark Ruffalo. Ruffalo. I mean, he's typical of what's going on in Hollywood today. He says this, he says, Americans, get ready for an economic revolution to end capitalism. Here's a guy that makes $8 million, last movie made rather. He's worth an estimated $30 million and he says, let's end capitalism. Typical wordage, hey. I'm rich, how dare you try to get rich? Then he goes on to say Twitter, it should be regulated by the government, heavily regulated, because now, ever since Musk, there's bad things going on. He's saying things that I don't like, and it's not nice. The war in Ukraine has been a gift to President Biden because now we can fast track all of this stuff because of the price of gasoline, fast track to electric cars and green energy, and this guy wants to be a politician. Hey, God put actors on earth to entertain us. Be quiet about the rest of the stuff. Hey, wow. He says this regulated system with Twitter is promoting illegal activities to illegal immigrants. I don't know what that means. And do as I say, but you know the routine. But he goes on and on about capitalism. That's his big thing, is he doesn't like capitalism and he's rich. People like that make me crazy. Probably doesn't like guns either. I haven't heard his stance on that, but I'm sure he doesn't unless he has one, and that is probably okay. The First Amendment, freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly to petition government, and so on. I'll always defend his right to be an idiot because that's okay, whereas he won't defend my right to talk about him or anybody else about what I believe in. But the First Amendment provides all of that. However, you need the Second Amendment to make sure that you can always have the First Amendment. You need that. And if a government tries to disarm you, you being the legal person who doesn't do anything bad, then you have to wonder about their motives, right? Their motives can't be good. They're trying to control you. It's always about control. It ain't gun control. It's people control. Back to the actors in Hollywood. That's what they want. They want everybody controlled. Not good. Digital currency. Keeping up. I'm jumping from topic to topic, but I got things that irritate me and I want to share with you so we can go out and talk about them and add to them, delete from them, do whatever, but get the word out there. Digital currency. Governments are moving towards that, and I think we need to push back. I remember back in the 70s when Chargex started and people, it was a cash society, and all of a sudden people had a credit card. Chargex ultimately or eventually changed its name to Visa, I think, if I'm remembering right. Boy, am I old. And today, people are using debits and credit cards and all kinds of things most of the time, and the banks get to take your cash and use it. They don't pay you anything for it, and then in turn, they lend it to other people and they get big returns. So effectively, they're your partner, but not really, not a nice partnership, because they get all of the money and you don't get anything. It's kind of like being in the mining business. You know that he got the mine and you got the shaft. Hey, just saying. So how do you fix that? I think everybody should have cash. Take your cash out of the banks. Don't give it to them to partner up with you, like I've said. Take the cash, pay all your bills with cash, put it under your pillow, do whatever you have to do, but soon they're going to go digital and then you lose control. Then they know every time you buy a box of popcorn, they know, and they want to know. You want them to not know. So use the cash. That's kind of my thing for the day. Go, if you have $1 million in the bank, doesn't matter. Tell the bank you want the money. And then distribute it out in different little places, so if you do get robbed, they won't get it all. Use common sense. Then it'll be up to you, and I'm sure you're going to be good. We need to control the system. How do you like that? Go back. It used to be this way, 60s, 70s. That is the way it was. Now, in Canada, you have a guy here that says, expression of anti-government views on the internet may pose a terrorist threat. He's the director of a federal security agency. And he said that statement. That's kind of profound. We are seeing that kind of narrative, very anti-authority, anti-government, and so, of course, that's a bad thing. I guess. That means you guys in government should maybe do a better job. People are unhappy with you. They express themselves. The internet is that outlet to kind of get rid of some of your emotion, don't you know? And maybe you should listen to it instead of condemning it. There's some crazies out there that say some things always that you got to control in a different way. We all understand that. But with regard to the normal person, don't treat us like that. Don't tell us that we're terrorists. Tell us that maybe we're right. Analyze with what's being said. I'm not one of them, but you get what I'm saying, hopefully, hey, and then you got Twitter that says this. Finally, here to close it off today, I like this Musk with what he's doing on Twitter, and he says that all media that receives government funding should be slapped with an affiliated warning label so readers can better calibrate the truth. And of course, he includes the CBC in Canada with that and so many other places in Canada. I mean, it's kind of nice that he singled out one, but he could have just said Canadian media because it's all the same. They all get funded. I don't know that I remember the number, but I think it works out to about $60,000 per year per person that works in the media that is funded by the Canadian government. That's kind of obscene. I mean, I remember in my little world here, I recall that I've had numerous people from the government, from film agencies, come to me and say, why don't you fill out a form and get a grant? And I said, you know what? Your $50,000 form, or to get $50,000, I can make that much if I use my energy to work instead of filling out your stupid little form. And they say, use a green screen and we'll pay you, I think it was $3,800 a week or maybe per show. We'll give you a tax credit. I don't remember because I discounted them right away. And I said, get away from me. I mean, I'll do my own funding. Bah! I dislike these commie people. Hey, y'all come back. There's my expression for the day. See ya.